Oh man, you're in for a treat today. We're going to be talking about teams, teamwork. How important is a team? How do you build a team? What does a team consist of? Do you go from good to great with a good team or a great team? How do you get that? Get in it. We're going to be showing you.
What is up, everybody? Brian Poduska here. You are watching Real Talk with Brian Poduska. Stephen, thank you for that intro. And you are correct. Today, we are talking teams and teamwork and what that means in your individual life, personal life, business life, the importance of teams. So we're looking at it with a wide lens. This is the last week of the month that we're going to be talking about teams. So looking forward to both Stephen and Carrie's, our co-hosts, opinion and viewpoints on teams, what they've learned throughout their career, on the importance of teams in their career, and then more importantly, looking forward to meeting their guests and hearing their viewpoints on teams. So that is the focus today. For those of you who have not seen the show or are relatively new to the show, we are Real Talk. We are part of a larger platform called The Difference. And basically what that is the things that make the difference in business and life. So we have been going for over 2 years and going and growing, as they say. And basically what we do is put a spotlight on local business owners, entrepreneurs, and business leaders to really wind in the business topic, as well as, build their businesses, build their networks, through this podcast. So welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're tuning in today. And while we're talking about that, let me just give a brief overview of what my company is, Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments. We are a full service real estate brokerage, really focusing on investors, right? So if you are an intentional investor or an accidental investor or a beginning investor, basically we can help you. So we have some unique tools that look at an investment property from multiple different angles, not just cash flow. We look at multiple different metrics and help you analyze whether or not that is a good investment property for your needs. So most importantly, we look at what you're looking for in the long term with that investment. And then, of course, we can help you purchase that asset, manage that asset, and then at the end, sell that asset, and you can go and retire early. Because that is all of our goals, right? So that is Real Property Management Focus in a nutshell, where we focus on your real estate investments. So Lennon, I know you're in the background. If you don't mind bringing in our co-hosts today, Stephen and Carrie. What's up, guys? How are we all doing?
Hey,
good.
Stressful. Just a little bit every day. That's all I go for.
Well, Stephen, you're a little bit. Oh, there you go. I was going to say you're a little bit frozen, but you were frozen with that sparkly smile of yours. So
I've been practicing that.
Well, you're doing great. Keep practicing. Anyway, no, thanks for joining, guys. I feel like it's been a while. I haven't seen you guys for a while. I know, Carrie, you were on a couple weeks ago. Stephen, you were on a couple weeks ago, and I think I was in Chicago for a funeral or one of the reasons that I had to miss. So I feel like we're bringing the band back together. That feels good. So our topic today, teams and teamwork. It's Stephen, with your multiple different businesses, I'm interested to hear your perspective today on the importance of teams and how you've built your businesses, and then also, from a coaching standpoint on the business coaching side, how you implement that and how you encourage people and help focus people on building a team. Carrie, I know you're part of a larger Keller Williams team. You have your team, and then also with the roofing business, you guys have definitely exponentially grown your team. So I'm interested to hear about that. And then we have our guest already on. So this is one of the fewest, or maybe
the only time.
She
maybe the
does
first
that
time
because
back-
we always say ladies first. But
Exactly.
tired of us saying that. So she says, you know what? I'm going to do. You ain't going to. You know what? Make my guess first. That'll teach her. No, I'm joking.
Well, we're going to say ladies and guest first, because we got 2 levels of courtesy here.
That's
So,
true.
so while we have you guys both on the screen, Carrie, why don't you introduce your guest and let's learn a little bit more about her.
This is Lacey Lee. She's one of my primary lenders. She has Friendly Loans. We worked together how long?
It's been like 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she also fosters dogs. And she has some foster fails too. And I think she might have goats too. I'm not real sure. I haven't got that far yet.
Are they emotional support goats?
No, but they sure are entertaining. I have the fainting goat.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh, I was going to ask that.
I didn't know if that was a real thing or not, but that's awesome.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I want to hear how that came about. Maybe we'll dive into that here in a little bit. But okay, so lending, and you guys team up on your with your buyers.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, love
She
it.
does open houses with me as well as Michael, who was on last week. You missed that.
Yep.
Or last time. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the one that I missed. That while we're bringing the band back together, I missed bringing him in the fold. I did see him on Wednesday, so that was good though. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it's an hour and 15 minutes of my life I won't get back, but
And you spend it with him. I'm so sorry.
exactly.
No, and that, speaking of teams, that's my team. Michael, Lacey, and I are a team.
No, that's awesome. So you guys I knew you and Michael teamed up on when you do an open house. And Michael's walked me through a little bit, and maybe he did that on the show last time, but kind of walk through what your game plan is and how you guys, I don't want to say attack an open house because that's a little aggressive, but
as my daughter told him one day when it was during COVID and it was like the really big rush time of people looking, we had like, I don't know, how many did we have that day? We had a ton.
42 families come through. So it was like over 90 people that came through.
So the second day we had my stepdaughter, my oldest one, join us. And she was up there with Michael. And finally, after everybody left, she said, man, you sure do pimp her out.
well, that's what a good team member does, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And just to get an idea, so open houses accomplish a few different things, right? Obviously, you're opening the house for any prospective buyer, but more importantly, sometimes you're building your contact list and you're helping show the fact that not only are you building it for yourself, but you're building it for your team members, and you're coming at any prospective buyer that comes in with the, hey, we have a team of folks who can help you. So if you don't already have one, we have folks lined up here who can help you. So,
and I'll tell you, this last open house I did last weekend, they asked a question about retaining wall, like who was responsible for it, which I know if you're on top of it, you're responsible for it. But then Michael was able to chime in on something I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And help them with understanding with retaining wall.
From the insurance piece,
which
makes sense.
Which I didn't even think about, and we're on one. So there you go. I just rely on him to make sure I'm taken care of.
Well, when in doubt, refer to the expert, right? So it's always great to have the expert in the room.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
No, that's awesome. All right. So ladies, you had your opportunity. We'll come back.
It's Marvelous Mary's time now.
Yeah.
That's right. So we have another lady to introduce. Stephen, why don't you bring your guest in who has a fantastic name, maybe Marvelous?
And she knows I'm going to do it because every time we talk, whether it's on the phone, on Zoom, whatever, it's marvelous. She's marvelous, Mary, marvelous. And so marvelous Mary she's unique. So it's before I talk about her, I'm going to talk about me. And because I'm going to talk about me, it's about her. So the reason what the people out there don't know is I flew in low today to get in on time because I was at a workshop studying from another leader. And it dawned on me, it just now dawned on me. I talk about all the time that, you need to go out and learn, but we're talking about teams. Guess what? That guy's on my team. We don't think about the people that train us as our team members, but that's what we do. And I learn so much every time I go to one of these workshops, right? And I never think of them being on my team, but they are. And the reason I'm tying Mary into this is because Mary trains leaders. right? You think, maybe the president of the United States doesn't really need anybody, or Tony Robbins doesn't need anybody, but they all have people they go to help them get better. And that's their secret. That's really their secret sauce, is they never stop learning. And so, and so what Marvelous Mary does, you're going to hear that a lot. Hey, if you don't want to hear that, you need to, but we'll just talk about, but that's what she does, is she helps leaders, and fulfill their dreams and goals. And so, Brian, I'm just going to put this out there. I don't want you to be offended. Okay. But I love you, Brian. And you come up with some really, we had to talk about this, really darn good questions, but not as good as Marvelous Mary. She's like you, but she makes me think, and I'm like, ooh, and I just get better every time she asks a question. I'm like, I know the answer to that. Let me think about it now. So the brain expands, right? The universe is expanding. My brain expands. Sometimes they think I'm big-headed, but I'm not. I'm kind of nice shape. But anyway, I'm going off the subject now. Marvelous Mary, go ahead, take it away. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Don't say anything about Zig Ziglar, because I don't want them to know that you're so great and that you were speaking on his platform and all that. I don't want them to know any of that stuff. We're not going to talk about that. But well, now that I've said that, maybe you might want to talk about it. But anyway, go ahead and you go, girl.
Well, hello. My name is Mary Warren, aka Marvelous Mary. And why do I say marvelous? Well, oftentimes when someone asks me, "How are you?" I usually say I'm either marvelous or I'm excellent. And one day someone asked me, and she introduced herself and she said, "Hello, my name is Felicia, and my friends call me Fabulous." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she extended her hand and said, "You are?" And I said, "I am Mary." She said, "And your friends call you?" And Marvelous immediately arose. And so, why do I say I'm marvelous? Well, I empower leaders to lead, starting with you. I help restore hope back into leaders to redeem their dreams, their goals, and realize that they are possible. Who helps the leader when the leader is struggling and can't go and talk with just anyone about their concerns, especially in the direct sales and the network marketing industry, which is my background. I've been in direct sales and or network marketing since I was 16, so I understand the challenges that they are confronted with when it comes to building teams, growing businesses, retaining customers and or recruits or associates, distributors, whatever they call them. And so my focus, my gifting is to help enable leaders to bloom and blossom where they're planted. And so, if you ask me what is my mission statement, I have a mission statement for my life. And my mission statement is to discern and celebrate my difference while showing the love of God through practical applications. And everything I do is wrapped around that. And who else would I better help but others to understand their differences as well? So that's in a nutshell as to who I am. I might say that my title is a COO, Chief Opportunity Orchestrator, because I help others with the opportunities they have to properly execute and take action to move the needle forward to expand and grow both their businesses, their teams, their customer base, retention. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
We love the COO part, Marvelous Mary.
Yes.
Hey, and we'll get into this later, but and people are going to get offended by this, but there's a reason I'm saying it. She's a hot woman.
Oh,
Okay, and she'll explain that. That's a setup for after the commercial.
Uh-oh.
all right.
Oh, yeah.
Twice the
She's
teaser,
hot.
Stephen. I
She's
mean,
hot. And I can
I've
say, my
always-
wife doesn't, she's not upset about this, by the way. She knows it. Okay. So
I've always said there's no topic off base or off limits on the show. So, hey, we'll look forward to hearing that as well. So we got fainting goats. We got a hot woman. So we've got a few follow-ups to dive deeper into here. In all seriousness, thank you for coming on the show today. Marvelous Mary.
Thank you.
So
Thank
I
you.
do have one question though. Before I think we've got a commercial break coming up, but you said when people ask you how you're doing today, you say either marvelous or excellent previously to becoming Marvelous Mary.
Mhm.
I assume marvelous is better than excellent. They're both great. Is there a degree of betterness?
Well, my middle initial is E for Elizabeth, And so then that's why, and again, I'm usually excellent. How many times do you ask someone, how are you? And they say they're excellent. It makes for great conversation.
Yeah, no,
I say
excellent. Great.
I have good days and better days. And so excellent was befitting.
Well, and I like marvelous too, because that's almost more compelling to ask, well, wow, that's great. So why marvelous today?
It flows better too.
It helps people remember me because my name is so common. If I just say, hi, I'm Mary Warren, you don't remember that.
Yeah.
But when I say marvelous Mary, you remember me.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Okay, so I do want to get deeper into how, it sounds like you've got basically, and I don't want to oversimplify this, but coaching is kind of what you do, how to grow your business. Is that a correct, very oversimplification of your business?
Correct. Coaching, mentoring, and accountability partnership.
Got it. Okay, cool. So I do want to dive into that, especially your expertise on the back end of this break. So like I said, we've got the actual topic of the day, teamwork. And I do want everybody's perspective on that, but I know we've got some fainting goats that we got to check out, and we'll dive into the hot woman comments after this break. So Lennon, let's hit the break and we'll come back.
The difference is made possible by the following small businesses.
Real property management focus. An unmatched level of service to property owners, investors, and tenants throughout the DFW Metroplex.
Katie Owen, the insurance gal, helps overwhelmed Medicare-eligible people successfully navigate the enrollment process. When turning 65, retiring, and signing up for Medicare for the first time, it can be confusing. So it's important to get guidance from someone you can trust. Katie helps her clients navigate the enrollment process in a way that eliminates the feeling of being overwhelmed and unsure and leaves her clients feeling relieved and confident. If you have questions about the Medicare process and want advice from someone you can trust, reach out to Katie at 972-943-3943 or at her website, www.insgal.com.
When you need a trusted roofing company on your side to help you out with storm damage repair for your roof, call Cook DFW Roofing. Serving Anna, Melissa, Princeton, Prosper, Van Alstyne, and all of the DFW area.
Red Branch Realty and owner realtor Ashley Gentry are true champions at every level. As a top producer, Ashley Gentry and Red Branch Realty truly embody their mission of being your supporter and partner in your personal real estate journey. So if finding the best representation possible in achieving the American dream of homeownership is important to you, give Ashley a call at 972-342-1869. WeatherTech General Contracting. We make your home renovation dreams a reality.
And by
Alan Lester, branch manager and team lead for the One Group, a branch of Town Square Mortgage. With over 22 years in the mortgage lending industry, Allen and Town Square Mortgage have many loan program options available from conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, and many investor and self-employed programs. So if you're looking for the best in the business, give Allen a call at 214-681-0234.
For more information about our sponsors and their services, or if you would like information on how you and your business can partner with or sponsor this show, or others like it, just check the show description or comments for the relevant links and contact information. And now back to the show.
Man, our sponsor list is growing and growing. We couldn't do this without them, and that's great. So thank you for all our sponsors and advertisers. Yes, please, if you're interested in joining, just check out #The Difference. Check out our Facebook page. Click on the YouTube links, and you can figure out how to get into the family and into the team as well. So really just a quick plug on The Difference. We really are, it fits in well with our topic this month of teamwork. Len has done a fantastic job of building this really from the ground up. And we've pivoted along the way with COVID, and won't bore you with all those stories, but the team that is, core to The Difference, everybody on the screen today, our guests are always, part of the family as well. Once they come on the show and get to introduce themselves, and we get to learn about their business. you can join our Facebook page, which is a private group. I don't know, Lennon, how many members we have. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but we went from 0 to whatever that number is right now. Trusted business partners, folks that we can reach out to at any time, knowing that we need something, whether, as a property management company, I need vendors all the time. I can feel confident going out into that team of folks on the difference that they're gonna perform. So I just put that plug in here really quick on the fly, but the difference is truly a team. So that being said, now a little birdie in my ear here told me that we've got some video to educate myself anyway. Fainting goat thing. So let's see here.
I muted us.
That's what they do.
They just. How long are they like that?
It's typically only for a couple of seconds that they're like this. This one's unusual.
That thing's all right. Is he all right? Like,
mine do not pass out, and they don't faint. It's actually like a muscle disorder. Their muscles tense up when they get scared. And
now he's just chilling. He's all right.
Yep, and they're fine. It's just it's just a muscle disorder, but obviously some take a little bit longer to come back around.
So they
He looks like what I feel. He looks like what I feel like when I get up in the morning.
So they purposely breed them, though.
Yes, yeah, and a little bit of history on them. Like, well, they're raised as meat goats. I'm not raising mine for that, but they also used to use these for farmers that had lots of goats. They would get them to be like the what's the word? When a predator comes in, they would attack these goats first before their herd of goats.
So like a wolf or something that come in, they would go to the fainting.
So they're sacrificial goats.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Yes, exactly.
Those poor goats, they're bred to be sacrificed for the betterment of the herd, huh?
The feeder fish.
I don't do that. They're just entertaining for me, and they keep our. We live out on a ranch, so they help keep away a lot of all the stuff you don't want in your yard.
So like snakes and mats.
No, like more so like weeds.
Oh yeah, they
poison.
eat, yeah.
Like not poison, but like just all the. I was gonna say poison oak, but they don't eat that. But just all the like weeds and stuff that you don't want around the house.
So how many do you have to have per acre?
I don't know. I have 3. I have a boy and 2 girls.
So when they're not fainting, they're eating all the crud.
Yes,
that you don't want.
yes, they are. Yep.
Well, that fits perfectly because we're talking about teamwork.
Exactly.
Back in the old
That's
days,
why I brought it
they
up.
had a part of the team that they did, and then the other goats had their part.
Exactly.
Well, and with gas prices the way they are, they're perfect lawnmowers. So
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
See,
No doubt about it.
multitasking team.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
All right, so I love that. Now I have a visual of of what a fainting goat is. So and I've already learned so much about you. So this has been great, and we're only not even halfway into the show. This is awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so that we just knocked off. Follow-up number 1 is what the heck's a fainting goat. So now I know. Now let's dive into this hot woman comment because I know that's loaded.
Yeah, baby, you behave.
Many
Go get
different
him, Mary.
ways,
Go
so
get him.
I'll let you take this one on.
Well, I aspire to be hot, which is true. Not hot in the way you think. Hot stands humble, open, and transparent. And so I heard that from one of the preachers actually, and he said that's what they and it just immediately hit my belly. And I'm like, that's so true because it lines up with my core values. And so being integrity is one of my core values. And so that helps me to remain and true to that core value, to be humble, open, and transparent. My life is an open book.
Yeah.
Get to know me long enough and you might know a whole lot about me as I begin to share. So hot. Love
I
acronyms.
told you she was hot, and my wife doesn't mind. I don't know why people take that the wrong way. I don't understand.
I know.
They need to take more vacations.
Take more vacations.
TMV, baby.
That is
So-
hot. That is hot
How did
indeed.
that resonate with you?
Love it. I love it. So humble, open, and transparent, right?
Correct.
Love it. Love it. That's fantastic. And, everybody has a foundation that they have, whether they know it or not, or call it out or not. I love that, acronyms are great because you can always remember, especially, you've got a memorable name. Now you have a memorable, a way of operation of how you operate. I think that's fantastic. So tell us about your business and how you incorporate building a team, because I heard a little bit of some multi-level marketing perhaps in your background. Obviously that you need a team for in order to be successful. So tell us some of the fundamentals of how, I guess, a couple prong question, and I always do this to folks, so I always load you up with a bunch of questions and then you have to remember what I asked, but that's how I roll. Steven said I ask questions fairly well. I can always get better, so I'll have to learn from Marvelous Mary. But tell us how the best way to build a team, what you're looking for in teammates, and the quickest way to ramp that up quickly.
Okay, so those are loaded questions. And so the best way to build a team is to build a team that fits your core values. And so you have to determine what your values are and then make sure that those that you're bringing on board fit into that mold, that module, because otherwise you're going to have conflict. And so when it comes to direct sales and or network marketing, the best way to build a team is speed versus strategy. So you want to go fast. Sometimes it's going to be ignorance on fire, if you will. And because remember, in network marketing, whoever has the speed to get there first, right, they're able to build more successfully, having a larger team in their organization. And so when you're looking for those team members, you want to have those who are at your ambition level or above, so that you're pushing and you're not having to pull, but you can push and encourage one another as opposed to pulling and or resurrecting the dead. So when your team isn't growing, the best way to grow your team is to get more team. The best way to, we say oftentimes that whatever your problem is, just go wide, go get more people. And that motivates those that you have, that encourages those who are on board, and it lights a fire under those that are there. So if you're not building a network marketing business and just let's say you have a brick and mortar, well, you still need that. You still need to go fast. Why? Because customers and clients are our base. Without customers and clients, we have no business. And so you want to go out and make sure that you're acquiring the proper teammates, the proper candidates, and you want to interview those candidates so that, again, keeping in mind that the core value is highly important for you, because otherwise you're going to go against the grain.
Yeah, I love that. The values alignment, I think, is I mean, you can't summarize any better. That you nailed it on the head. Especially, as if you're talking brick and mortar, or if you're business to business, and you have a payroll, network marketing, at least you don't have necessarily the payroll per se, the burden of that along with building your team. But as you do build out your team in those other business models, you're absolutely right. If you don't have values aligned with the folks that are on your team, you're not. It's going to be very expensive. Put it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's great.
And so that's whether you're building team members for a business or volunteers for a nonprofit, it all fits into that same mold.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's fantastic. Anybody else have any thoughts on key ingredients and key attributes you're looking for when you're building a team and in a team member? Gary, you raise your hand.
So on the real estate side, I was just telling Lacey, it seems to be easier because I'm saying Lacey is my lender. She's her own person. She's her own business. Michael is my insurance. He's his own person. So it doesn't reflect bad on me should anything happen. However, let's switch to the roofing side, and that absolutely reflects on us. We have these project managers that are out there, and if they don't have the same values we have, it makes our company a problem. So
yeah, you're right, and I think I know we have to break here shortly, but that's very true for my business as well, because our vendors are direct representation of our company, even though they may not be employed directly by us, but they're our partners. So when you're picking your partners and picking your team, you have to be very careful, not only because they may not get the job done that you're looking for them to do or that you hired them to do, but more importantly, they can reflect negatively on your personality, who you are, what you represent, and what your business represents.
Yep.
So that's a great point, Carrie. Stephen, I do want to get your thoughts on this as well, but let's first take a break real quick, and then we'll come back on the back end and dive a little bit further into this. And then I want to hear about our guests' why. How did you get in the business? So that's coming up, but let's hit the break real quick, Lennon.
The Difference Radio, live stream and podcast, the voice of small businesses and the communities they serve.
Over the last 24 months, The Difference has evolved into a powerful internet media company that helps small businesses and local communities and nonprofit organizations create, produce, broadcast, and distribute a variety of shows, all designed to empower our communities, the businesses, the people, the places, and the events that make our cities, communities, and the folks that live there so very special.
With almost 1.5 million viewers and listeners in the last 2 years, The Difference and its unique strategy of positive impact branding has helped communities and small businesses be seen, be heard, and be remembered.
In a world that is consumed with negative press, media manipulation, and propaganda, The Difference, along with many others who believe in and support The Difference, understand that there is no better way to make the difference in our communities than to highlight the unsung heroes and high achievers that call our towns and communities home. And we wanted to create a platform that does just that. One that brings awareness to and reminds folks of the goodness that lives within so many of us and our neighbors.
And don't forget to hit that like, follow, and subscribe button, and tune in each week so you can experience the difference.
Awesome. Be seen, be heard, be remembered. Boom. All right. Love that plug. And again, I'm not going to go deep on The Difference, but I know we're doing some really exciting stuff to expand our reach in different communities here locally. So please do stay tuned for that effort as we get that off the ground. Nathan Smith, one of our other co-hosts, has done a fantastic job in Plano. We're trying to do the same thing in Frisco and a few other communities, such as McKinney and Rockwall, I believe, is next up on the agenda. So stay tuned for more on that sort of effort here at The Difference. But okay, so let's go back to the topic at hand right now, and that is teams. So Stephen, I want to get your perspective. I know you've got the Get Debt Free moniker on your screen right now, but you also do business coaching for those of you who don't know Stephen and all of his background. So I love hearing your perspective on this, because I know you're a big proponent of, if there's something that you can have someone else replicate for you and take off your plate as a business owner, entrepreneur, absolutely go ahead and do that. So that all leads itself to team building. Give us your thoughts on one, I guess, the importance of teams and team building. I just kind of stole your thunder on that one, but more importantly, how do you advocate for folks to go about doing that?
It's an excellent question, and Mary kind of touched on it, and I'm gonna go off on that a little bit. I like to always say that a team, you are part of the team, of course, as a leader, and you are the bus driver. And people are going to get on your bus, and they're going to want to go with you. Some people are going to stay, some people are going to go. Some people are going to realize that you don't want to go down that road. But as a bus driver, you have to have your own core values first. And the people that mimic that will come in and go with you, because you're driving forward with a thought, with an idea. And so they've got to be with that same thought and idea. Now, having said that, the problem herein lies is that there are 3 types of people that you can hire. You have the C players. The C players are people that are actively looking for another job, and it's just a job to them. They don't really care. And if you have C players in your company, you can make a living. You'll have an average business. And it's okay if you want an average business, you hire C players. B players, they want to get things done. So but the problem with B players is they want all the credit. So they'll hire C players because they know the C players won't get the credit. They'll get the credit and they'll push to do that. But they'll never hire an A player because you see, an A player, if you give an A player a job, Brian, if you gave me a job and I am an A player, and I was one of your A players, I'd say, Brian, I could do it, but you're in my way. Could you move to the left, right, and just get the hell out of my way? And they'll go, right? Now, here's the thing. B players hire C players, but never hire A players. A players will not stay in your organization long if you keep B and C players in there because they don't understand why you're not busting your butt to do this great organization that's got these great goals. And you don't have to wake them up in the morning to get them started, right? They'll probably wake you up in the morning. Tom Brady, new guy came in on Tom Brady and he said, well, I'll see you in the morning to work out. The guy came at 8 o'clock in the morning. Tom Brady said, good afternoon, and continued his workout. So the guy came in at 7 o'clock in the morning the next day. Tom Brady said, good afternoon. Guy came at 6 o'clock in the morning. Tom Brady said, good morning. Because you see, you put in extra effort. You go the extra mile when you really want to be great. You don't do the average. You don't come in at 8 o'clock. You do your work. Now, but the nice thing about A players is birds of a feather flock together. They hang around other A players. And they find out your organization is an A playing organization, they'll bring in those people to replace the B and C players. And if you look at all of the great companies, they all do that. And it's a vetting process. And here's the thing. Sometimes I've got an A player on my team, but they're in the wrong spot. It's not their fault. This is not their area of expertise. So you've got to vet them for that also. You can hire the right person, but for the wrong job. You can also hire the wrong person for the right job, which is what we think of most of the time. So you have to be careful when you're doing those kind of things. And then you touched on what my favorite topic is you should not bring in, look, if I'm great at marketing, why are you hiring another marketing person, right? I hire people that do the things that I either hate to do or are terrible to do, or I really hate and am terrible at doing those things, right? So the objective is to keep hiring and replacing people. If you want to make $100,000, I do the math. Want to make $100,000 a year, you have to be worth $50 an hour. Is it worth $50 an hour to answer your emails? No. Well, I'm the only one that can answer it. But do you need to look at all that spam? Couldn't you have somebody for $10 an hour go through, get all your emails, and say these are the ones you need to answer, these are the ones you don't, right? Look how much time you save. Now you can use that time to do what I call the 3 things that make you money, right? And then the 2 things that make you money, and then finally the only one thing that makes you money. Be Richard Branson. Richard Branson only does one thing. All he does is look for businesses that he wants to invest in. And then when he finds them, he turns it over to his team and he's done. He's on his island, half the time, right? So anyway, I'm done. So Carrie,
so what time does Brady get in?
What time does who?
Brady get in. Tom Brady.
I don't know, but I know at 6 o'clock in the morning he'll say good morning, but he won't say. Well, if you come in any later, it's like good afternoon, right? He's just setting the tone, right? I would imagine that if you came in at 5, the next day he would come in at 4:55.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of workhorse he is.
Yeah, and so we always done this. If you listen to the ticket, they always say bringing it back to sports, right? That's one of the little liners that they play. So this always comes back to sports, and I love your analogy of the A player, Stephen.
Yes.
And I love the Tom Brady analogy. I always go to Michael Jordan because I'm a Chicago guy and I grew up there in the.
Boo.
You can hate him all you want, but the success is undeniable. Kobe Bryant.
I'm saying move to Chicago.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Kobe Bryant.
So, hey, Brian.
Brian,
I want to try to play that video. I don't know if I can get the sound, so this is an experiment. Let's hope it doesn't fail.
Okay.
But this is somebody else that a lot of people hate that I respect a lot, Nick Saban. but
Right.
he is echoing everything Stephen Beaver said. It's what reminded me of it. So if I can get this to play, let's see if this will work. Okay.
Yeah, go for it. Let's see.
Let me know if you can hear it, because I'll be able to hear it. Y'all might not be able to. Can you hear it?
Not yet.
Can't hear it or see it right now.
Well, all right. Let me see if I can fix it. We'll come back to this. Y'all keep going. But this is something.
Okay,
that's
no,
good.
that's great. And yeah, Nick Saban, you're right. He's pretty polarizing. Unless you're Roll Tide right now, then you're probably not a Saban fan. But a great example of leadership, though, right? And developing teamwork, because he's taken that model from when he was early in his career. I don't know his whole lineage, but I know Michigan State. He built an empire there, then took it to whatever it was, LSU next, and so he's brought his model of teamwork, because, and I don't know if this is what the video talks about, but he puts the right people in place. Those, like you said, Stephen, like those A players, and they talk about the coaching tree of some of the great coaches, whether it's Joe Paterno's coaching tree, Nick Saban's coaching tree. All that goes to you put the right people in place and let them run and stay out of their way, and then figure out how to balance some of those A personalities that are usually come along with A players. That's an art as well. It's a skill as well as an art to figure out how to, like, I go back to my Bulls analogy, the Phil Jackson, who was the puppet master behind having all those A players and letting them do their own thing, but still work together for a common goal. I think, those are all super important. So Carrie, I see you got a point to make. Fire away, girl.
Well, no, a manager is as good as their team.
Yes,
for sure.
Your team is what makes you good, because you put the A's in instead of the C's and D's. Yeah. Sorry, I went with the D's.
Well, and those C's and D's can be detrimental to your team, right? Yeah. Like if they're looking for the next best option, like they're probably the complainers on the team as well. And then misery loves company, right? Like you're trying to pull, if I'm unhappy, let me pull you in as well. So let's be unhappy together, so it's just,
it's a cancer.
It
in
is.
The team.
Yeah, it's bad for the team in general.
So
just speak it. You don't have to rate that.
Fire away.
Jerry did that. I don't know why. She usually just busts in, and I agree with her.
I kind of have a different perspective when it talks about the C's and the D's.
It's D. B is in Bravo.
We may.
I said D. I said C.
We may
D and B is in Bravo.
D is in Bravo.
Okay, everybody's saying D's. Well, I might change it to D in my training, just because.
And so when you look at those that would potentially be a C and or a D, it could be that they're not operating in their gifting in the place where you have them. So they're not flourishing. So they appear to be less than, but given the opportunity and understanding, their perspective and their gifts, moving and shifting and pivoting them may cause them to shine in a way that you didn't know, because they were, as Steve said earlier, they were misplaced. So they weren't able to actually shine. And sometimes it just requires them to someone to talk with them and get a full understanding of what their perspective is, what their thoughts, and how they see themselves helping in the business or in the platform or as a team member. Oftentimes they're not asked, how do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself here? And what part of the business, the vision, can you take ownership of? And so
it's like, what are their strengths?
Yeah,
exactly. Sometimes understanding and giving them the ability to take ownership in their own right will find that they're diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yep, could be. Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. But then you got to worry about those strengths that they have. Is that going to work for my organization or my team that I'm building? And it may not be a good fit, unfortunately. But by having that conversation, you can help them figure out, like, all right, this isn't where I need to be at. Maybe I need to be over here doing this career or this work.
And that you're all over it. And that's the problem herein lies is sometimes we jump to the conclusion that they're a C player because they want to be, Okay,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's because they're in the wrong they're in the wrong place. But and this happens with what my main business consultant that I study from. Uh, he had a lady that was just failing, and he re-interviewed and re-asked and looked and said, "What about this area?" And she's been with him for like 13 years now. So, I mean, and is like the head of the division and is like main force behind so just simply just saying, hey, look, this isn't working out. Let's see if we can find a better fit. Like Mary and you were both saying that, and then if that doesn't work, then fine. But what is it? It's the Container Store. They have a 20% increase in revenue every year. They have like a 80 or 90% ratio of keeping their employees because they train them all the time. And so that's why they're able to make this 20% income, is because they don't have to replace their employees every 6 months or a year. And that's the main cost is replacing your team. So I guess if we were going to really talk about the main thing is, they always say hire slow and fire fast, but no, hire right?
Yep.
Wait and hire right, and then be willing. The universe is the only constant. Universe is change, and sometimes people change. You have a baby. You're a different person when you become a new mom or a new dad, right? Maybe you're like, I was talking to a police officer friend. He didn't want to go out and do all that crazy stuff and go after he wanted more of it like a laid back police officer job, right? Because he was more concerned about going home to. So you got to look at all these factors that change, and the millennials are different than the boomers, right?
Well, that's a whole nother show.
Yeah. So, but you got to hire, right? And so anyway, that's
your soapbox.
Brian, I may have it now. Let's give it a shot. See if we can make this work.
All right, bring on Saban, baby.
I'm trying to see if this will work. We'll see. Hold on 1 second.
We see him this time. And there goes your mouse.
You have
Yes.
to communicate with other people, and you have to work with other people. And you can never have any team chemistry for this reason. Mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. So if everybody doesn't buy into the same principles and values of the organization and the same high standard, you're never going to be successful. Just like our spring practice right now. You know what my goal with spring practice is? Get the right guys on the bus, get them in the right seats, and get the wrong guys off the bus. So one of these days, you're going to be working in an organization, and somebody's going to try to do that to you. So which one of those people do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody they're trying to get off the bus because you're satisfied with mediocre performance? Because you can never have any team chemistry in your organization if everybody's not committed to the same standard and the same things. You know, when I worked for Bill Belichick, we had one sign in the building. It was, do your job. And you go in all these places and, you see all these things. One sign, do your job.
Wow. That reminds me of the 6 words that I always say to myself every day. Did you do your best today? That's it. Did you do your best today?
I do the same thing, Stephen, and I follow that up with.
Yeah, that's how she was doing. Yeah.
And if not, why?
Yeah. And if you did, how can you do it better tomorrow? Those are the 2 follow-ups.
Today.
Right? Because you can always be better. This is why our producer, which you never see, is our producer. Because, I mean, what we bring on great guests, and Brian asks great questions all the time. But it's the guy behind the scenes. I mean, think about that's the
forgotten guy.
You don't see. That's the guy that's really driving the bus. Okay, you think that Brian and I and Gary and Mar, but but you get the right bus driver, and see, we all bought in on this difference thing, right? And we're on the bus, right? So yeah.
So Stephen, I did syllables instead of words.
Okay. And English. Okay, English is a foreign language to me. But go ahead.
We'll have to have a class to re-educate ourselves on the finer points of the English language. But
I want to hear it. How many syllables? No, I really want to hear it. Seriously.
What?
How many syllables?
7.
Oh, okay.
Do your best. Wait, what was your question?
Yeah.
What was
Did
it?
you do your best today? Today is 2 syllables. I got it.
Exactly. That's where I got my 7.
My mom is probably going to freak if she ever watches this that I got an English question right.
So I've got spinning on the same, 6 words or whatever. There's the Notre Dame sign that everybody hits going out of the locker room. What is that?
Be a champion.
Play like a
Play like a
champion.
champion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So I don't have that in my office or anything, and I don't say it every day. But when you guys are talking about it, it kind of resonated with me. Is that something like that is a great reminder to bring your A game every single freaking day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all hit ruts, and I'll tease out next month's theme, which is adversity, challenges, whether it's positive or negative, and how we handle those. So we're going to talk about that next month. I do know we need to get to a break real quick, but let's play like a champion while this break is going on. Come back, and I want to dive into our guests' their why. So let's do that on the back end. Right now, Lyndon, let's hit the break.
Today's show is brought to you by the following small businesses.
Liberator Health Insurance, the best value in the health insurance industry. Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Would you like to hear about an alternative to your current health insurance? How about an average of around 30 to 50% savings on your premiums? At Liberator Health Insurance, you can see any doctor, any hospital, small copays, and low deductibles. And there is no referral to see a specialist, all with very affordable premiums. For a quick quote, call or text Greg Holberg today at 214-886-4688.
And by Wines with an Appeal. Wines with an Appeal offers entertaining and educational wine tasting events to help you fundraise, recognize your clients, or just have a fun night out with friends. At our fundraising events, we strive to provide a nice variety of reds, whites, sparkling, and dessert wines. We typically offer a good variety of the core varietals, along with some interesting blends. We sample wines from all over the world. Call or email for details on how it works and how your event could be available at no cost to you. And now back to the show.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks to our good friends of the show, Mr. Holberg, Mr. Tom. So thank you guys for being part of the Real Talk with us and part of the difference. Can't do it without you, as we said earlier. That being said, all right, let's dive into. I just realized this in the break as I was playing like a champion. We actually have 2. We've got Marvelous Mary, so MM. We got Lacey Lee, LL, right? So we got two names that have. There's some going back to our English language. It's not onomatopoeia, but it's something like that where it all started.
We go to Marvel comic books, Stan Lee, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and and everything was doubles, right? So they're
that's right. So on our doubles, we've got Lacey Lee. Lacey, tell us about. So you're in lending. Tell us how you got there. I love hearing the stories of people's whys and how they ended up where they are.
Yeah, good question.
Winding stories. So tell us.
So I have been a mortgage lender almost 5 years now, a little over 4. But prior to that, I came from corporate world. So I was actually in corporate world for about 19 years. I worked all kinds of things. I did. I started on the phones, and I'm that A player and worked my way up, in the company. So started out on the phones like customer service rep, and eventually worked my way up into management, and eventually into what was like a process management role on the mortgage side. So trying to basically eliminate waste and close loans faster. How do you make it easier for operations? The company I worked with ended up shutting down the mortgage side. And I decided after getting a taste of mortgage and working with the loan officers, I thought this is a great opportunity for me to give this, do a career change. I just turned 40. So big shift. And yeah. So big, later in life, making a big career change, going from that stable guaranteed base salary income to 100% commission. But here I am now. I love it. I really enjoy it. I feel like I'm making a difference in my buyers' lives.
Hashtag the difference.
Yeah.
See, you're plugging the show and you don't even know it.
Yeah. But I love that piece about it. And with COVID happening, I wasn't able to attend closings, and I need to get back into that. I'm just, you get in a habit and then you don't.
You attend closings?
Yeah. Pre-COVID I did.
Wow.
But I just haven't done it here lately. I need to get back into it.
So what were your loans? What was the amount of loans you closed last year? Like dollar amount?
Dollar amount, 87 million.
There you
go. So, but I loved being at the closing table and seeing that smile on the buyer's face, especially my first time home buyers. Like, I really do feel like I'm making a difference. And, when you leave corporate world, like they're going to find someone to replace you, but a buyer needs a loan officer that's going to go to bat for them. And if I don't go to bat for them, then they may not get that house. And there's no one there to replace me. So I take the work that I do seriously and love it.
That's awesome. You and I share quite a bit there. So I was corporate America for 17 years. Well, I guess 20 years, 17 with one company, and did a little bit of process improvement. So Lean Six Sigma stuff, did a bunch of other stuff too. But at some point you take that leap of faith. And for me, it had been brewing in my mind for quite a bit of time. And what I've realized is there really is no good time to really make that leap. So that's awesome to hear. There's never that perfect time. So that's awesome to hear that you did that, and that you're loving it and that it's successful. So especially through the last several years with COVID too. So that obviously threw wrinkles in a bunch of different plans. So love that story. I know we're running tight on time, so I would love to go a little bit deeper, and maybe we can do that, offline and just have a lunch or something.
Yeah.
But Mary, I want to hear your story too, because I have a feeling there's something in there that's an awesome little nugget.
Well, for me, when I graduated high school, my life ambition was to become a mortician. And needless to say, believe it or not, and I had all of my studies lined up with my internship and so forth. Fell in love with a tall, bow-legged fella and got a full scholarship in secretarial science. So you figure full ride, pay your way, follow your dreams, full ride, took the cake. And so my background is an executive admin assistant, as well as a budget director. So I've been in the financial arena most of my career, but I started Avon at 16 and then went to Amway at 18 and was smitten by the network marketing bug. And so from there, there were several companies that I participated with, earned my car, build my big, the large team, but I found the challenges that the network marketers were having. And so my goal, when we moved to Texas, I couldn't get a job in my field paying me more than $10 an hour. And so, when you've come from the DC metro area to $10 an hour and you live 35 plus minutes away, that doesn't sit very well. And so I realized quickly that I had to, kind of like Lacey, I had to figure out a way to supplement my income. And so I went back into network marketing, but I quickly understood the challenges the leaders were having. And so my goal was, do I compete or do I find a way to complete them? And I chose to complete. And now with that being said, my ultimate goal is to build legacy so that my great grandchildren, as they see the picture of Mima and Pop Pop on the wall on the mantelpiece, they'll realize that Mima set the trail so that they could have the scholarships within the family to pursue their dreams. And my husband and I, the goal is to take the grandchildren and just be able to, during spring breaks and their breaks in school, travel with them. So that's my worry.
So are you still with the tall, bow-legged one?
I am. It's
awesome. How many years?
48.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome, Mary.
We've been married 48 years. We've been together almost 50 years. And so it's say, wow, if something happens, you might embalm me alive. I said, well, then you better walk a tightrope then, fella, because
Well, marvelous Mary, you do not look old enough to be married almost.
I was going to say, would you get married at 2?
yes,
Right?
yes.
Well, Lacey lied about her age, so Mary can lie about hers. So, I mean,
All right. Well, guys, Mary, thanks for sharing that story. That's awesome. We can all take away a little teamwork. It takes 48 years. It takes a lot of teamwork. So you clearly know teamwork. But guys, thanks both of our guests, Lacey, Mary, the L's and the M's. Thank you guys both for being on today, sharing all the stuff on teamwork and all your knowledge. Stephen, Carrie, thank you guys again for co-hosting. It's always fun wrapping up the month with you guys. Next month, as I teased out earlier, we're going to talk a little bit more of a, I guess, negative topic, but it doesn't have to be negative. It's adversity. Could be good or bad, how you overcome that. And, in the economic environment we're in, I think that's appropriate. So let's look forward to that next month. Until then, have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Remember all those who made the ultimate sacrifice. We thank them, and we will see everybody next week. Take care, guys.
All right, thank you.
What about a military person? Yeah, and it can tie into